We'll keep going.
I should have waited until it was being recorded.
Well, you know, we said something.
All right,
We're all set to go, so.
all right, so. Pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag first.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag, of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Get closer.
The heat is like right here. Yeah.
The heat's coming on now.
It's right there.
Right there. Well, I just turned this heat on from air conditioning.
It was cold in the first piece.
They kept us awake though, Dave.
It's the David Letterman series.
Roll call, Kristen.
Councilmember John Casey,
Present.
Councilmember David Sauter,
Present,
Supervisor Jared Simpson,
necessarily absent.
Deputy Supervisor Terrence Fenley.
Present.
Gotta share the screen.
We have no privilege of the floor, I don't think we do. Sue, you got anything? No. Well, we can move on to
Nope.
doing the agenda. John will lead us through it.
Yes. Why is it share? Sue, can you see the agenda?
I can now.
Okay, all right.
Thanks.
Sure, sharing the right page here. Okay. So on the side from the sheriff report on the, we're adding a new section. So you guys are aware, under the circulation of written communication, it's the public engagement section. Sue's gonna be doing a social engagement report every month, just to show the data of, visits to our app, our site, Sue, maybe. And several other things, just showing the work that she's doing to, try to keep the public engaged. Birthdays, go right down to our, public hearings. We're gonna have two of them, one for the amendment of the stormwater management plan. This was, we discussed, last meeting, it was, just some legal document amendments. It doesn't change any actual procedures of the plan. It's just documents that need after we adopted it, the state said you need these legal documents in there as well. And so we're just amending it by adding these in there, and it requires a public hearing. So, that will have a resolution on here as well, but this is the public hearing first, and then the public hearing for the preliminary town budget. Reports, the one report that's actually gonna change that won't be on here, we discussed it yesterday. I discussed it with Jared and Sue, is the cemetery committee report. I think came way past the deadline, I was already publishing it. And I said, we're gonna have a pretty busy agenda with the public hearing and the budget public hearing anyway. So Sue's gonna ask them if they're good to do their committee report and presentation on the 27th. First up on the budget workshop meeting. And then there'll also be a resolution from the cemetery committee for the wreaths across America that gets done in December. So, but that won't actually be on there after today, I'll amend that. And the continued resolution is the creation of the temporary data collector positions. I know Gary's been talking to you guys individually, I guess, regarding that, so, but being it was tabled from last meeting, it's gotta be discussed and voted on at Monday's meeting.
You mentioned you were gonna make some modifications to this.
Oh, he did mention that. I gotta still talk to him. He said but it would, so any amendments are gonna have to happen on the table there at the meeting, so. He briefly mentioned it to me, so I just wanna get with him to ask him what amendments we gotta be prepared for. So you guys, somebody will have to make a motion to amend it, give the amendment, and then approve that, and then I'll change the actual resolution after the meeting, and then republish it with that amended resolution. We got a bunch of budget transfers on this agenda. And I'm gonna go through them. The actual. But some of these did not make the finance committee. Because it was all information that I found after the finance committee. When I reran the summary reports, and there were more stuff that was in the red, that we had to address. And I did lots of reading in the comptroller manuals this week. To figure it out, but. So the first one is general fund transfers, so you're gonna see
What number?
number 17, item 17. Are all the general fund transfers we need to make to get these lines out of the red, and to also account for additional expenses for the remainder of the year. We're over in our attorney line, though it was discussed a while back that we were gonna take 10,000 out of contingency to pay for the Motion Junction legal expenses. That transfer just was never made, so we're doing it now. And then I threw an additional 5,000 top of that to cover the little bit that we're over, but also, well, actually it's 10, 'cause we already paid about just under 5,000 to them. But I added some buffer in there for Nadler's expenses too for the rest of the year as well, so. And then same thing in the CBA contractual line, we went over on legal expenses, so I threw an extra in there to cover the remainder of the year, for Chris. Some other contractual items with the DBA. And our buildings, each one of our buildings, town hall, highway and parks, we're all, in the red. Highway being the biggest one because of the emergency repair to their HVAC unit. Parks must have just been under budget in utility costs. And then our other big one is our unallocated insurance, which we knew earlier in the year, again, when we approved the insurance back, I think it was like April. But we knew that we weren't budgeted for enough, but we just didn't transfer the money yet, so. Fortunately, we don't get our insurance rates until months after we adopt our budget, so. But these are all lines that we're pulling from, are all within the budget, so it's no extra money, no changes to the overall budget, just within the lines. And then we have water fund, some transfers in the water fund that we had to make. Some transfers in the highway fund that we have to make to get out of the red. Well, that's the next one, actually. We're gonna be doing an interfund transfer of FEMA funds. That have already been reimbursed, and the projects that these reimbursements are specifically for, have, basically closed out. So we're able to then legally utilize some of that money to put back into our DA fund to cover maintenance of roads contractuals, because we're well over in that line. Correct. So that's the area where we're gonna get that money from, plus also about 100,000 over. We're putting the whole 159,000 in to account for the rest of the year as well. And then this is we've talked about this multiple times, and this was talked about in finance. This is just the bookkeeping transfer that we gotta deal with regarding that, the tax stabilization revenue that we brought into the budget for this year, but we can't actually use it as tax stabilization. And then the auditor made a journal entry into our unassigned fund balance. So this is coming out of unassigned fund balance, but it was in our budget, it was just removed, and so it's just going back as a different item to cover our retirement. Before the end of the year, you'll see another related resolution to this, where then we're gonna be transferring, putting that 350,000 to where it needs to go, so part of it in highway fund.
Right.
And a part of it towards the retirement, fund for the general fund. So, but this just basically takes that money back out of unassigned fund balance, sits it in a transfer line, and it'll just wait until it gets transferred. I didn't want to do too much on a single resolution. Back to agenda here. Just wanted to specifically pull those ones up. Oh, and then the last one, item number 22, we're contracting with,
Can you go back to 21,
Yep.
please?
yes.
What are you saying about 21? What are we doing here?
So 21, so this, we talked, if you're recalling, finance, it's a lot, it's hard to recall because it's very confusing. So.
That's
we-
the reason why I asked the question.
Yeah, I know. And so we had initially, I guess it's two separate things. Basically, our town auditor made a journal entry within our system and our budget to remove $350,000 from our retirement reserve or a tax stabilization reserve to back into unassigned fund balance to get it into compliance, because we were over the amount that we're supposed to have in that reserve fund.
You're talking about 21 now?
Yes. So that money was moved from that reserve into unassigned fund balance. We had budgeted in 2025, we had included a revenue of $350,000 to help offset the tax levy. And we took that from tax stabilization, assuming that that's what it was for. We found out that you can only use it for that if under certain conditions, which we don't meet. And it's like extreme circumstances of the government pulling funding from you. But where that money can be transferred, and we have a lot of money, we're gonna have to deal with this at some point too. We have like almost $1 million in there. Where the only other place that money can be used is towards retirement reserves or towards retirement. So we can pay our retirement costs out of that line. So at some point, we should move most of that tax stabilization line to our retirement reserve so we can actually utilize it. But for now, all we're doing right now is we're just accounting for that journal entry that the auditor made to make things reconcile again.
Is
And
that
then-
the $581,411?
It's 350, so.
$350,000.
581 is another thing you're gonna create. Well, I hope you create.
Oh, I see.
Retirement was literally the only place we could put that money.
Then what was the scan below it, John? That's what I opened up. and
Oh, I'm
I got
sorry, yeah, let me-
confused with.
Let me go back.
I
So-
understood the 350. So you got a scan there.
Yeah, so that's just the journal entry that the. So this is just showing, I was just showing right here, the highlighted part is the only thing that is relevant to this, and that's just the journal entry that the. Auditor made, so they took, I'm sorry. I confused this a little bit because that 581,000 is actually the journal entry that they took. $350,000 of that is what we're putting back, we're putting into the retirement reserve. To account for that revenue that we can't use, and we're gonna turn it over. So the rest of that is staying in unassigned fund balance for
Okay.
now.
Got it.
So, sorry about that.
It's all right, that explained it.
Yeah, so out of that, we're taking 350 back. So the unassigned fund balance actually is made out as a positive from this whole transfer. Good with that now? Believe me, my brain has been hurting all weekend trying to figure this stuff out one and then figure out how to explain it. Nice. So 22 is just our contract for audit services. These are the same people we've been using. This is a 3-year agreement with them, and the costs are in there over those 3 years. 23, Jared wanted to put this resolution on there to close town hall on January 2nd, which is because I guess New Year's Day is a Thursday. So he wanted to give off for that following Friday, close town hall. And since our organizational meeting won't be until after this, it had to be a resolution to authorize it.
It's just town hall.
Well, Jim and I talked yesterday about it and what he would do with highway.
I'd like to treat it as a floating holiday, just add it to 26.
Oh, an additional floating.
Yeah.
24, 24, 25, and 26 are our yearly contracts with the sheriff's office, court security, the law enforcement, enhanced law enforcement, and then the rental of the boathouse. Both 24 and 26 are the same. 25, the law enforcement contract is us. We reduced it by 4,000 because we haven't really been hitting that $20,000 mark. So we reduced it to 16,000 to help with the budget. And so with that, the number of hours went down slightly too, because they're getting paid a little bit more for 2026, that their top pay rate, what we base it off of. But we just had to reduce the hours a bit. But I would still want to hit that 16,000. 27. Well, 27, 28 are 2 items I think Jared sent out to you all through email from our community and the interview choice. 29 is something Lindsay's doing for retirement purposes.
Yeah, it's just establishing the standard workday, which is a requirement for the New York State retirement system. The last time it was done was 2018, so there's been a lot of changes since then. So this chart is just updating our new positions and what the standard workday is for both. Next, we have appointment of 2 permanent parks laborers. So we have 2 vacancies, 1 full-time permanent and 1 part-time permanent. So we have filled those vacancies. We had over 40 applicants. So we had a really great pool of people to interview and select from. So the 2 people that we have selected, I think are going to be excellent, very skilled people, which is great. I know Greg is excited.
Absolutely.
Next, we also had a vacancy for NEMEO. So we did fill that with someone who has 10 years in another municipality. So we're also excited to have them on board.
32 is from the public hearing that is occurring at the same day. Now this is just adopting those amendments to the stormwater management plan. And I didn't drop the entire plan in there, just so you guys know. The attachment is just that the amendment page and the documents that are being added in, because they want to create another 1,000-page agenda. 33 is something that Nadler was working on. asked me to drop this in, so I don't really have many details about it. But it is, apparently we're getting some land donated. So this is the resolution that he created, to throw on the agenda to accept that donation.
Do you know where this land is, Sean?
It's right across from Miller Park. At one point in time, we were trying to use that as a connector, so I fairly bought it. And then to connect all the parks together through some kind of trail system. Correct.
Yeah, I have the letter here, just so you know, it's from James Raylick.
It's in the agenda too.
Yeah, yes, it references 8.5 acres of
Yeah.
farm.
Right.
Yeah, I put the Encore map in there and then also his letter to the town board for. Just that the other day.
Goes back quite a few years.
Yeah.
It's best for
2009.
Jim to do this, but then there's a little blow up amongst some of the parties and kind of lost its luster for a while. So this would be sizable chunk, and I think Kevin has some ideas too, doesn't he, Jim?
Yeah, he's
For using
mentioned,
some of it for, water retention.
There's a big
mitigation
stream that runs
project.
right through there. It's flooded with Congo 32 a couple times, so. I think that's what he's thinking.
I do too.
34, we got back on the agenda here, recognizing Jeff Winter for his 50 years of service. So we finally got the Wood Lake plaque thing in, so same one that we gave to Sarah, so be there. Greg's gonna be at this meeting to, as well, and so that can be presented to him. And that's it for this one. There was a lot more that I decided that gotta move over to the November agenda because there was more financial stuff that I gotta figure out how to do. We gotta make a bunch of some other reserve transfers. We have to close some capital projects, create capital projects, and so I need a little more time to.
Jim, you were gonna have a number for the November meeting, right, for the make up for
Or
one of those funds that was well over you.
we're doing that this.
Oh,
That's in this one. I got this one to this
Oh,
one,
okay.
because I
didn't see.
wanted to get everything out of the red into the black before we pay our bills, so.
Yep.
So that's in there, and that's where we're doing, that's the
Yep, got it.
single
Funds.
resolution from the FEMA funds.
Yeah.
So, the abstract that's on here will change also. This is not correct. They just yesterday learned more how to get the actual, and I thought it was correct, and then I realized that we weren't including other packets, so I ended up talking with Jess and got that figured out, so that will change, but it's like a little over $1 million, but.
You mentioned the name Jess and numbers. Where are we? Have you,
So we have an interview today. We interviewed somebody last week. Then we have an interview today. A lot of applicants,
any
Just
people
these-
that have experience? with
just these two.
municipal-
These two that we interviewed, the one we interviewed last week and the one we interviewed today are the only ones that are actual finance clerks in a municipality. So that's who we're trying to focus on first.
That would be a priority.
So,
Somebody that can hit the ground running,
Yes.
yeah,
or adding or whatever.
Or at least hit the ground walking.
yeah.
How'd the first one sound? I mean.
In fact-
Potential or?
Yeah, I mean, this person could do it. They're not doing as much in their current position as Jess was doing. They can get there, because they know, that's really most important thing is knowing the rules and like the comptroller guides and how to transfer things and the journal entries you have to make. The person we're interviewing today has more time and experience in the position. So
Are they kind of local?
it's all local, but two people are local.
Oh, good, 'cause I mean, that's
Yeah.
where we ran into trouble with Jess. Like,
Yeah.
okay, commute. is-
Oh, yeah,
is a
no,
problem,
sure,
yeah.
yeah,
With municipal experience?
yes. currently working in a municipality.
Good.
Oh, the trip you're about to say which one.
No.
Yeah, we don't, I just wanna make sure they're,
There's
Don't have a long
many,
drive.
Nobody knows right now. Well, we're not pushing anybody. These are people who apply to our position.
We advertise.
We advertise and they apply.
Only-
But yeah, so unfortunately, only two that are actually in the position, so, but. Look at that, I think part of the interview today will be asking how to do some of these things that we gotta do. Show me how to do these journal entries. But
Should we? You know, we're talking about creating these full positions for data collectors. Is there anything in the finance area, higher level,
there
we
is,
should consider getting
so,
books so we have that availability?
yeah, so my plan, Terry, right now, this is how I would present it to you guys, is. Right now, we need that immediate fill of finance clerk too. So as much as, yes, I wanted to eventually work just into a higher role, which is called a fiscal manager. I mean, there's some in between accountant. But fiscal manager, I think, really encompasses actually everything Jess was doing and things that I was trying to get her towards as well. And so I'd like to eventually get there. And that's why this position that we're looking for as a finance clerk too, we're not only looking for somebody who can come and plug and play, but somebody who's going to be willing to work into that higher level role over the next couple of years. Because eventually we really need redundancy. And I'd like to have, once we have a fiscal manager, a person who can be a fiscal manager, or at least doing the responsibilities, then have another finance clerk under that person. So, because we really, like, this has just shown, and I knew it, I was just hoping to get a little more time to try and,
we're a little thin in the bench on that area.
yeah.
There is no bench.
You know, we talked about all along that we feel like it's not, where she clearly is not, that's a long drive and, but I was hoping to have just a little more time to figure out how we're gonna present that to the board and work through it to get that additional person in. So, and I think we have current staff too that, right now can get trained with this new person that we bring in. Can help train some of our current staff, current clerks, to have some of that duplicity right now. And then ultimately lead into that fiscal manager and finance clerk role. So, but. But that's,
Given the length of time it takes to get approval from the county. Is there an advantage to doing that alongside, or parallel to this other application, or you just wanna wait?
it's fine to wait. So right now, finance clerk 2 is actually in the help program, so we don't need anybody off the list or anything like that. And I think the best way to deal with this, because fiscal manager. That's also, we asked for a list, and there was like one person on it. So, so if we can,
Grow somebody
Grow
into that,
somebody
I
into
think
that
that's the
position.
ideal way to go,
yeah.
I'm talking about having the position,
Oh, to create
Created
the
already.
position?
I mean, cause you're indicating it takes months to get approval.
It can take months, yeah, it could take months. It'd probably be something that we can deal with next year, because
For 27,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, or at any point, and then, you know, if we have a person that we know can get there. Then we have time on our side, because we have the person, and then it would just be a matter of just the official title being created. So, but I would wait until to make sure that this person can actually form those duties. For created a position for them, so.
Beeping. It's like the trucks beeping over at the highway for 2 days a week. It just grows.
So. But we'll get through it, we're figuring it out and we'll manage. I might get grumpy at times when I don't sleep for days on end, but
And when you say we, it's you.
I got, everybody's helping out. We got a great staff, everybody is chipping in and willing to help. Lindsay's been learning stuff, Tammy's taking on a lot. Jim's clerks are helping. So we're just kind of spread the duties out, but yeah, I'm dealing with a lot of more of the higher level. Budget transfers and all that, and so, actual fund transfers. So I'm still the one with the access to the accounts. So. We're learning. It'll be good because at least after this, everybody will know a little piece of something.
They have a little. And start building that bench.
Yeah,
Do we have an executive session?
not that I'm aware of. Any other questions on Monday's agenda? Anything we wanna hash out?
Anybody got anything else to throw in or? Your side, what?
Oh, that's great. Busy.
Yeah, ordinance side of things have been light because we're just been working on the form-based code.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been a ton of ordinance stuff on here. We did move those maps that were on, that we removed, we didn't put them back on for this month because there's still work that needs to be done. With MRB to,
Yeah, we've got a meeting scheduled with MRB to finalize all that stuff. It's good before basically go reviewed by MRB. So.
do have a potential, director of development. We're just waiting on the background check information to come through, but we have made an offer. That has been accepted. And, so hopefully by next month's meeting, we'll have that on the agenda. So that will be helpful. Upstairs. That additional person. Yeah, that's it. So just a quick update with the budget too. So we're all on the same page. We got our preliminary, our public hearing for the preliminary budget. Anything that is discussed on Monday about that, we then will take over into the budget workshop on the 27th. And that's where we'll make the amendments to the budget, or if any amendments, and then once we close out that budget workshop, hope that will be should be our final preliminary budget to then bring to the November meeting to get adopted. If after discussions and, wherever it goes, if it stays the same, if things are just reworked within the budget and the total levy stays the same, we will be over the tax levy. And so, but we shouldn't really pass that until we know for sure. So that will be on the November meeting. So after the budget workshop, if we're still over our tax cap limit, then there'll be a resolution on there to set the public hearing for tax cap levy on the November meeting. And then we'll have the public hearing at that meeting, and then in the same meeting, adopt the budget. So we do have a comptroller coming in. They decided this was a great time to come and do an audit on our
When's that?
next week, but it's just on our tax cap. So they're gonna come here next week for a day on the 22nd with me, and I don't know exactly. I talked to him yesterday just to make sure we're not gonna cause I said, listen, cause he gave a little phrase in there, we wanna look at this, but not limited to. So I said, we don't have a finance clerk, so what exactly are we getting into? So he assured me it's only tax cap stuff, and I have all that information. So I'll be with them on next Wednesday for the whole day, going through all that. So I don't know if that's gonna end up changing anything in the budget. I believe all my numbers are correct. But, so there's a chance that when we get into the budget workshop, there might be some additional amendments.
The workshop is at 6 o'clock on the 27th.
27th. And we'll start that one off. There might be a couple resolutions on there. One that we couldn't get on for Monday for the MRB and watershed proposals for that NPS grant. And then the cemetery committee one, so we'll do the cemetery committee stuff first, get it out of the way, and then go into our budget workshop. So. That's the plan by November 17th.
I have one question for you, Greg.
Yes,
25th,
yes,
what's, cause I had someone that all bugging me about what do I have to do for trunk or treat? My
We're
daughter's
just-
putting a, doing one of those things.
yeah, we're
Is
just,
there any rules or regulations that you're putting out, or? you
yeah, we're
just
just
show up?
finalizing the plans as we speak. You should be getting an email with the, with the map and some more instructions as we go. We're right there, so just waiting on Oksana to finalize that on her side, and we have all of our people. Should be a really nice,
How many people do you have?
little 25
25 trunks?
trunk
Yeah.
trees, plus some town staff, plus
Yeah.
our events, so magic show and some animals from are gonna be there as well.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so, great, and plus the park itself, Motion Junction right there, so it's gonna be a fun event.
Is, company store done now with,
Yes,
They're not
but
over
they'll be there for the event,
that's what I was wondering.
they're gonna be doing the popcorn and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're gonna meet with them soon in the next few weeks to see how things were at Ocean Junction.
Mhm.
And then come up with our agreement for next year and what that's gonna look like for us and them.
Are they still willing to do that?
I'm gonna say nailed.
Yeah, he said it was very positive, very good, so
Been right.
just us sitting down and
Good,
Going with the numbers,
good idea.
bring in some money.
yeah, come up with our agreement on what, we're not gonna look for, like, it's not gonna be moneymaker for us.
Yeah, I think it's more,
It's more for the public. and
yeah,
for
I
the,
think it's good to have them there. I mean, we don't,
Yeah, but we just wanna cover a little bit of our operational
Sure.
costs, so.
but I would hate to have them get spooked away by,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Exactly. Good. Anything else?
And from us,
Well, we should vote to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Motion moved. Second.
John, Terry and Dave, I'd like to ask you a couple questions.
Okay.
of What you want,
afterwards.
Yes.
Let me close the meeting. Well.
Sorry, we're adjourned. Very good.
Okay.
Hold that.
Jim, I followed up on the wheel thing.